Today we're going to talk about a bug out bag of tools for your custom car, your Cobra replica, your hot rod. Stay tuned. Everybody, I want to welcome you all to the channel. For those of you that have been subscribing, thanks for coming back. We really appreciate it. Today we're going to talk about tools. Everybody loves tools. We're going to talk about a bug out bag of tools that you carry in the car when you go on a trip. Some guys like to carry a bug out bag in the trunk of their car all the time. Personally, I don't do that. I figure if I'm just a few minutes or less than an hour away from the shop, that it's just easier to call for a tow, or even go and get my trailer and my tow vehicle and go and pick the car up. I will preface that by saying I've never broken down before. I'm not patting myself on the back. What's the old saying? It's better to be lucky than good. I've been extremely lucky. But today we're going to look at the tool kit bug out bag that we've assembled here in the shop that we take with us on every trip where we're going to be away for multiple days. Whether that means we're going to be living out of the car, or whether we're trailering the vehicle behind the tow vehicle. It's the same kit. It's just when you're trailering the vehicle with a tow vehicle, you not only have to prepare for any potential breakdowns with your custom car, your hot rod, or in this case a Cobra, but you also have to prepare for any breakdowns that you may have with your tow vehicle. And we can get into that later. The list of tools expands a little bit, where that's when you might want to bring some power tools, a battery powered ratchet gun or impact gun, a jack, an air compressor, like a 12-volt air compressor and stuff like that. But today we're just going to concentrate on the tools that you're going to want to keep in the trunk of the car in a small bug out bag that doesn't take up a whole lot of room in the trunk. All right, everybody, this is my bug out bag for the Cobra, and this houses all the tools that I will carry in the trunk of the car when we're on a multi-day trip. I do not keep this in the trunk of the car at all time. If we're within an hour of the shop, which is I'm usually less than an hour if we're at a car show or Cars and Coffee or something like that, I don't keep this in the car. At that point, it's really easier just to hitch a ride home, collect the trailer and the truck, and go pick up the car. So let's start with the bag. The bag is just a canvas tool bag that I picked up at one of the local home centers. It came with the bag itself, and then it came with a few of these pouches. These little pouches, and then one of the bigger pouches. I keep these around the shop. I don't keep them in this bag. I found they're really useful in keeping parts, hardware, and bolts and stuff like that all in one spot. Like if you're doing one particular project, like if you were, instance, doing a clutch and a transmission, you can put all your hardware in here. The zipper makes a good place to zip tie a label to let you know what's in the bag. So I keep these at the shop, but this became my bug out bag for the Cobra. The first thing I have in here is a multimeter. This is not an expensive multimeter. This is not the one that I use in the shop all the time. This is actually one of the $5 or $6 multimeters that you find at the Shipwreck tool store. And I found for roadside repairs and stuff like that, this works just fine. I do use it in the shop. If it's the closest multimeter, I will use this, but generally it stays in my bug out bag. So there's that. This is really helpful in identifying any situation where you're looking to find out whether you have 12 volts or whether you're tracing the ground. You can use the ohm feature on it to go to ground and see if your ground is good or not. So everybody should know how to use a multimeter. These are great because a lot of times if they're on sale, they're less than $5. The next thing on my list of things to have in your bug out bag would be a set of gloves. They don't have to be expensive gloves. They don't have to be the mechanics style gloves. These are just knit terry cloth. But if you have to get into an area of your car that isn't typically maintained all the time and is a little bit dirty or greasy, or if you've driven through water or mud or anything like that, you don't want to get filthy dirty, keep a pair of gloves like this in your bug out bag, and you'll thank yourself later. They're not going to protect you from extreme heat, but if you have to do something under the hood just after the engine's quit or turned off, these will protect you a little so that hopefully you don't burn yourself. We will put this off to the side for now. Next, we'll stay on the electrical theme. Terminals. Always make sure in your bug out bag you have some electrical terminals, whether it's butt splicers, spade connectors, fork connectors, ring connectors, even wire nuts. I don't build the cars with wire nuts. I don't like using wire nuts on cars, but if it's a matter of getting you home and a wire nut will do it, I keep wire nuts in my bug out bag. I've also got a collection of fuses, everything from a 5 amp fuse all the way to a 30, and even some of these splice connectors that everybody seems to hate. I don't particularly like using these, but again, if it's going to keep you from being stuck on the roadside, I always have a couple of these in my bug out bag. So there's electrical connectors. Since we're on electrical, these are two tools I don't keep in my bug out bag because I use them here in the shop. But I have a pair of Klein Tools electrical strippers. I like this style. I'm not a fan of the automatic wire strippers with all the gears and everything to strip a wire. These are what I learned to use 30 some odd years ago when I got in the electrical trade, and so I'm a creature of habit, and these are what I like. This is an old set from my tool bag that I wear at work and made its way into the shop because honestly, once the blades here for the cutting portion of it get a little bit tweaked, I don't like using them out in the field. So most of the wires I cut here in the shop I can cut easily even with a screwed up blade on the stripper. So these I always keep in the bug out bag when it gets loaded into the car. The other thing is a pair of terminal crimpers. These are from a company called Thomas & Betts, or T&B. I like these because the pin on them does not destroy the solderless connector, but it gives the best crimp that I have ever used in a tool. So these are my go-to. One of the reasons they stay in the shop is because I use these in the shop all the time, and I always want to make sure I have a good pair in my bug out bag when I am going on a trip. The nice thing about these as well is that they have 5 different places to cut screws. So anything from about a 440 all the way up to a 1/4 you can thread a screw in there, clamp down on the cutter, and it will cut a threaded machine screw perfectly. It won't mess up the threads, and you'll be able to thread it right into where it needs to go. So I like these. We also have a collection of Allen keys. I have the Offshore brand here that I got on clearance at, I think, the Blue Home Center. I think these maybe were $5 on sale as they were clearancing them out. So I grabbed a set. I've got a metric and a standard. And then I also have another set of American-made ones. I believe these are Eckline. And when I upgraded my set in the shop to a larger set, these went in my bug out bag. Screwdrivers. Make sure you have a screwdriver for every size of fastener that you used on your car when you built it. And if you didn't build the car, go around and check to make sure you have a screwdriver that's going to fit everything. We have everything here from a 6-inch large standard blade to a Phillips to a medium size flat blade and a small blade. We also have a stubby screwdriver, a stubby Phillips. I don't have a whole lot of standard flathead slotted screws on my build, but I do have a lot of Phillips heads, and especially behind the dash where you can't get a normal size screwdriver, the stubby Phillips is great. So I keep one of those in the bag. This does not fit in my terminal kit, but we've got a fuse checker right here. You can put this on your fuse. Almost every fuse manufactured now has 2 holes on the back of the fuse, so you can put the pins in there, and this will light up with a green light and let you know if the fuse is good or not. If it fit in my terminal container there, it would be in there, but it's loose in my bug out bag. Zip ties. I always take the last few zip ties out of the pack. Normally I'm buying these in no less than 100. I usually buy these by the 1,000. And so when I get down to the last 10 or 15, I will take a tie wrap it around that bundle, and then I throw them in the bug out bag. That's why I have 2 different bundles right now. Diagonal cutters. This is an older pair that I had in my tool bag that I wear at work. And once it got to the point where they didn't perform the way I wanted to them at work, they made it into the bug out bag. This is what you're going to cut all kinds of stuff for. You guys know what these are for. They're wire cutters, for lack of a better term. In my wrench bag, and again, this is just a canvas bag from one of the tool companies. This particular one is Greenlee, but Southwire, Klein, Ideal, all of the tool companies that cater to electricians all sell these canvas bags, and they're all available at the home centers. So I like these. These are really rugged. Even though those nylon or faux canvas ones I showed you that came with this bag earlier are great, this is just a little bit bigger, and they're very thick canvas, so you're less apt for a screwdriver or a knife or something to pierce these and ruin the bag. I have some stubby wrenches. Clearance from the Blue Box store. They were selling these for probably $15 if I remember correctly. This set goes from 7/16 all the way up to 3/4. I don't believe it skips any sizes. So we have 11/16, 5/8, 9/16, ½ inch, and 7/16. So pretty complete set. A lot of companies leave out the 11/16. Probably because it's not as popular, but this set has it. Adjustable wrenches. Again, from the Blue Box store. You're probably not going to use this one, but since it came in a set of 3, I just threw all 3 of these in the bug out bag. I already have a set of adjustable wrenches here in the shop and on all of my work vehicles, so I just threw the entire set in this bag. Vice grips. Everybody loves vice grips. This is a small set. This actually came as a 3-piece set with not 1, but 2 pair of water pump pliers or channel lock pliers. I do like these because they have a push button on the side that allows them to be adjusted, but once it's in, it's locked. It's not going to move anywhere. So I really like these. Again, clearance. I think these were less than $20. Watch those clearance bins and end caps at the Blue Home Center. I'm telling you, I find this stuff all the time. Sometimes a wrench set, 1 wrench will be missing, and they'll sell it for half price. And a lot of times you can buy the single wrench for a few dollars and complete the set, and it's still a great deal. The last thing I have in the canvas bag is a set of offset combination wrenches, and I bought this set for 2 reasons. One, I wanted a full-size set of wrenches because I had the stubby set, and so I wanted to make sure I had a long-handled version of combination wrenches. But the cool thing about these, actually there's 3 things. The price, because again I think these were less than $20. These are offset wrenches, and so what I found after using them more than once is that because of the way they're manufactured, you are actually putting pressure on the flat of the wrench when you're tightening or loosening something rather than the edge like a traditional combination wrench. And the last thing is, the profile on these is very thin. So these wrenches, this tapered portion on the end, which is thin, gets in places that these other wrenches don't. I mean, you can see the difference. Let's see how close I can get. You can see the difference in the end of the wrenches. So these, I actually pull these out of the bug out bag from time to time. If I need to get a thin profile wrench into something, these work great. So really like these wrenches. Let me put some of this stuff back out of the way here. And grab you guys the last thing that I throw in the trunk of the Cobra when we go on trips. Okay, last thing that goes in the back of the Cobra for a bug out is a socket set. This is not the actual socket set that I usually run when we're on a trip. I took this one out of my work truck because it was a lot easier to get to than my actual socket set that I normally take with me on trips. How many socket sets do all you have? Because boy, I start counting and I must have a dozen different socket sets on all the work vehicles. Here in the shop I probably have, hell, I may have 6 different socket sets here in the shop. I better stop while I'm ahead. Anyways, the one that I normally carry with me when we go on trips has a collection of both deep and shallows for the sockets, and has 2 different ratchet wrench sizes. So it has a 1/2 inch and it has a 3/8. And then of course it has a reducing adapter so that all of the smaller sockets in the set can work with the smaller collection of sockets that's in that set. I'll show you in just a second why I can't get to that socket set right now, but that pretty much closes out what I keep in the Cobra when we go on long trips. This is why I can't get to my socket set. My socket set is over on this side of the truck, right under the recycled cans that need to go to the recycle yard. So as you can see, and you've seen in previous videos, the back of the truck turns into a workbench or a storage bench every time I get deep into one of these builds. And I really have to thin out the stuff on the back of this truck here really soon because I'm out of room. So I hope that helps all you guys in your assembly of your bug out bag. As I said earlier in the video, I don't run those tools in the car all the time. It's just much simpler to if you have the Auto Club, or you have one of the other towing services that's part of your automotive insurance. Sometimes it's just easier to call for a tow and have them take you home rather than risking a roadside repair on a busy interstate. So I hope this helps you guys all out. All right, everybody, I think that's going to wrap things up. Go down to the comments. Let me know what your experience has been. What did we miss? Is there something in your bug out bag of tools that that you think every car owner should have? This isn't just about Cobra replicas. This is about any hot rod or any custom car out there. What's that one tool that you have to have when you get stranded on the side of the road? Or is your Auto Club membership enough? And let us know what you got in your bug out bag. I'd really like to know. This isn't a complete list of everything you could possibly put in the car, but when you've got a car that has the limited space of one of these, it's sometimes it's difficult to put every tool in your trunk that you think you may need at some point. Are there certain parts that you take with you? I know that when we're on long trips, I always throw an extra throttle cable and an extra clutch cable in with my stuff. I don't keep it in the Cobra per se. I usually keep it in the trailer or in the tow vehicle, but let us know. And we're getting a lot more subscribers than I ever thought that we were going to get at this point. So again, thank you for watching. We're a little overwhelmed with the popularity that you guys have all shown us. So thanks again. Have a great day.